Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. You see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now?
This man was in the famous Dudleytown when he noticed that figure stalking him through the woods. If you haven't heard of this place, it's a tiny abandoned village in the woods of Cornwall, Connecticut. At first glance, Dudleytown just seems like an old, forgotten settlement, but people believe this place is seriously cursed. And not just bad luck. We're talking a full-on, generations-old curse that supposedly ruined everyone who lived there.
No. What is that? No way.
If you didn't get it, there was a black shadow that walked past the deep, dark woods. The fact that it was pitch dark in there, even though it was broad daylight, is already scary enough. And then there was the shadow too. So how did the whole town get cursed? Well, the legend starts with the Dudley family, who settled there in the early 1700s. The story goes that their ancestors were involved in some shady stuff back in England, like betraying the king. As punishment, a curse was put on the Dudley bloodline. And when the Dudleys came to America and settled in what would become Dudleytown, that curse followed them. Almost everyone who lived in Dudleytown seemed to experience some kind of tragedy. People went insane, disappeared, or died mysteriously. Even though the land looked good for farming, crops would fail for no reason. It's like nothing good could last there. Some say the town's isolation in the dense forest added to the madness, like the woods themselves were closing in on people. And every time someone tried to visit, they were seeing weird things. It was so scary that the town has been literally named the Gateway to Hell. There was also a time when a man named Mike was walking through the woods when he noticed something was off. As he recorded the weird thing, this is what he saw.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. You see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now?
Even though it looked like just a regular man, what was he doing there? Just keeping an eye on Mike when there were no other people in Mike's radius. And it's not just this. Many viewers also told their own stories. One said, "I saw some people walking through the woods in old-fashioned clothes, and when I blinked they were gone." And then there's the thing that it's illegal to visit Dudleytown now. The land is privately owned, and the owners are strict about keeping people out. They say it's to protect the area, but you have to wonder, are they protecting the land? Or are they protecting people from the curse? In the heart of Huntsville, Alabama, nestled within the city's largest and oldest cemetery, Maple Hill, lies a playground. Known as the Dead Children's Playground, this place is shrouded in eerie tales and chilling legends that have intrigued and terrified locals and visitors for decades.
I was standing here and this just started. Oh my gosh.
However, the major story isn't about one single place, but rather a bunch of eerie legends about ghostly kids who haunt different parts of Alabama. And these aren't happy, playful ghost children. These stories are dark. So, how did this innocent place get its gruesome name? This urban legend is about how many children lost their lives in Huntsville during the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. Most of them were buried in Maple Hill, alongside a playground. As the legend states, the spirits of those children come out to play at night. The children are most active from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. The playground is surrounded by a group of trees, which can give off a shadowed appearance. There is a swing set and a regular-looking playground. People have been going there to see if they can find any paranormal activity, and sometimes they have really scary experiences. In fact, many visitors have reported strange occurrences during their late-night visits. Some claim to have heard faint giggling or the sound of footsteps when no one was around. Others have seen swings moving by themselves even when the wind was calm, or noticed cold spots in the air that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Like the time a group of friends went to investigate, and later into the night, this happened.
What is he looking at? Was it up by the bench? No.
Then in 2017, a man went there with his daughter. As he pushed the swings gently to take a picture, they kept going as if something with weight was in them. Some witnesses have also said they felt a sense of being watched or heard whispering voices, even though no one else was around. So, why are there so many stories of ghostly children in Alabama? Some say it's because these legends are a way of remembering tragic events that affected communities. These stories have a way of sticking with you. This legend pops up in a few places, but one of the most famous versions is in Cassadaga, Florida. Now, if you haven't heard of Cassadaga, it's basically the self-proclaimed psychic capital of the world. This place is full of mediums, spiritualists, and, of course, creepy stories. And, at the edge of town, in the Lake Helen Cassadaga Cemetery, sits the infamous Devil's Chair. According to the legends, the chair was created by a few worshippers for Satan himself. It is said that every midnight, the devil will ascend from hell to sit on it. According to legend, if you sit in this chair, you might end up having a little one-on-one with Satan himself. Yeah, not exactly the kind of meeting you want to schedule. The story goes that if you sit in the chair at midnight, the devil will whisper in your ear. Some versions of the legend say he'll make you a deal or curse you forever.
Looking for
What are you looking for?
help.
Do you need help? Is there any way we could help you right now? Maybe get your voice out?
Sin.
I don't like this, bro. I really don't like this.
I kept saying stuff.
Trapped!
It's a trap!
However, experts say that the legend is nothing more than that, a legend. Bauer explained that during the 19th century, stone seating areas were often added to cemetery plots. These mourning chairs gave loved ones a place to sit while paying respects to the departed. But let's be real. Legends like this don't just pop up out of nowhere. Even with the logical explanation of these mourning chairs, the eerie atmosphere of Lake Helen Cassadaga Cemetery keeps the legend alive. Paranormal investigators have visited the site and reported strange phenomena: unexplained cold spots, flickering lights, and orbs of energy caught on camera.
You see that? Holy shit. It's spiking up. There's something here.
Then, there were others who went at night in groups, trying to see if they could find anything. And luckily, they did.
Was was that? What?
And if this didn't scream scary enough, literal screams were also heard. Faint noises, the feeling of someone watching, like someone's moving around, can be heard. So as much as people say it's just a legend, these clips say otherwise. Even people who've sat in the chair describe feeling overwhelmed by dread or getting a weird chill. Even on a hot night, they say they heard the devil whispering in their ears. Adding to the eeriness, some visitors claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking near the chair after dark. These figures are often described as tall, with glowing eyes or a sense of malevolence. This ties back to the idea that the devil himself, or something demonic, might really be connected to the chair. Horror doesn't always lie in silent cemeteries and deserted roads. Sometimes, it's hanging right in front of us when we visit a funhouse. This is exactly how this urban legend goes. But here's the thing. This is no longer an urban legend. It's a very twisted tale of what happened to Elmer J. McCurdy.
Elmer McCurdy was a bank robber, train robber in the early 1900s. He gets killed.
It sounds like a normal story, right? But this is where the twist comes. After the autopsy, the man who performed it waited for his payment, but to his surprise, no one came to give him any money or claim the body. So, he dried Elmer out and put him in the back room.
The guy that had done the autopsy, his name's Johnson, he waits for payment from the county or from anybody.
Then, some men arrived, claiming to be Elmer's brothers, but they didn't take him to a family plot. Instead, they hung his body in a funhouse as a fake prop. His last stop was the Long Beach Pike amusement park in California. There, Elmer hung in a funhouse, covered in phosphorescent paint, while kids unknowingly played around his corpse.
I spent a good part of my time down in the Pike and on the beach. And for a kid, this was really great.
Then came December 1976 and fate's final reveal. A film crew shooting The $6 Million Man needed a creepy funhouse scene. Everything seemed normal until one of the crew members accidentally broke off Elmer's arm. Instead of the sawdust or wires they expected, human bones fell out. Elmer's body was finally identified, ending a 65-year nightmare of exploitation. In 1977, he was given a proper burial in Summit View Cemetery, Oklahoma. To ensure his peace, 2 feet of concrete were poured over his coffin, a final safeguard against further desecration. What began as a tragic end turned into a chilling story of neglect and greed. A bizarre legend, but one that is horrifyingly real. Call them skinwalkers or shape-shifting entities, and you'll find stories about them everywhere, from deserted roads to deep, dark woods. The lore surrounding these beings is nothing short of creepy. Skinwalkers originate from rich Native American folklore and are believed to be individuals who gained supernatural powers through committing a taboo act, which could possibly include harming a family member. For centuries, they have been said to roam the deserted areas of Arizona, especially the Navajo Nation, and their presence is associated with horror, curses, and ill omens. When people describe encounters, they frequently mention glowing eyes, strange animal-like appearances, and a creepy way of mimicking human voices, often leading to strange cries.
Time to hunt some skinwalkers, all right?
Now you hear that?
Skinwalkers tend to appear more often in certain locations, one of which is Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, which is considered to be a hotspot for paranormal investigations. Many visit every day looking for a skinwalker, but the locals just warn them to stay away. But that's not all. There have been multiple sightings over the years. People have seen and recorded glowing eyes and strange men out there. In 2014, a picture was uploaded on Facebook, and it had the whole world in shock.
A Facebook picture circulating yesterday sure has a lot of people up there worried.
The story behind the picture was that a geologist was working in an oil field when he felt something odd, and this was the picture he took. Surprisingly enough, he quit the next day too.
There are stories of countless encounters in New Mexico, but few will speak of them, too scared.
And then adding to all this creepiness, many people started finding their posts and comments which they just shared started disappearing from Facebook. No one knew what was going on. And the tales of skinwalkers haunting people aren't just a part of a specific territory. In fact, they spread globally, haunting everyone alike. Like when, a couple of years later, a Reddit user was camping in the Vimperk forest and heard this. The screams were so loud that it was surrounding the whole forest, and it clearly did not sound like a human screaming at all. The uploader thought it was either a skinwalker, however they did not have the courage to go and check the direction the scream was coming from. There were a few things in common. Everyone who ever saw a skinwalker said they felt these feelings of dread, a sudden temperature drop, and there were creepy noises everywhere. The feeling continued for months afterward. Some stories say that skinwalkers can curse people if they lock eyes with them, resulting in bad luck, illness, and sometimes even worse. So, as much as someone might argue that skinwalkers can be explained by optical illusions or animals in the dark, the screams, the cries, and the sightings just say otherwise. There appears to be a big chance that these skinwalkers might be roaming the deserted roads, waiting for the perfect moment to appear and attack. According to legend, Mothman is a black, 10-foot creature with wings and red eyes. They are mostly spotted around West Virginia, where in the 1960s, this legend made the lives of people hell. They were scared to go out at night. As for the beginning of this legend, it goes something like this. The year was 1966. Two gravediggers in Clendenin, West Virginia, saw a black figure fly over their heads while digging a grave in a cemetery. They didn't know it then, but they are credited with being the first people to see the famous Mothman. The monster was also commonly seen in the TNT area near town, with some locals speculating that perhaps people were really seeing cranes or owls, and others wondering if the creature was created in some sort of mutation, accident involving the chemicals associated with storing TNT. Regardless, legend has it that mysterious men in black suits began visiting the town shortly after the sighting reports. Since then, however, the TNT area, which is a former munitions site from World War II, has been called the Mothman's house.
It's the setting, really it is. It's the setting, the perfect setting for a strange sighting. Hey, there's something weird out there at that old dump site. I mean, It's perfect.
The sightings are numerous. For instance, when a YouTuber named Jerbear was investigating an abandoned Mothman bunker at West Point, as he parked his car and came out with his friend, he started to hear weird sounds. They checked the surroundings again, just to be sure, and then entered the bunker, which was full of nothing but graffiti everywhere, meaning they were not the first people to enter the bunker. Inside, everything seemed usual. However, just a few minutes later, they could hear something that sounded like heavy breathing.
Do you hear that? Was that heavy breathing?
Since it wasn't completely heard on camera, and the fact that voices were echoing around a lot, no one could tell what it was. However, one of the viewers claimed that it could be probably the Mothman. Another compelling sighting was when a man who says he was driving along State Route 2 saw something jump from tree to tree. He pulled off the road and snapped some pictures.
These pictures, supposedly taken by a man who says he was driving along State Highway 2 in Point Pleasant, saw something jump from tree to tree.
The man declined an on-camera interview, but was adamant the pictures had not been doctored. He said he recently moved to Point Pleasant for work and didn't even know about the legend. The town of Point Pleasant hosts an annual Mothman festival and features a Mothman statue to commemorate the legend. Despite its spooky origins, the creature has become a symbol of local pride and mystery. Paranormal enthusiasts and cryptid hunters continue to explore the woods and abandoned sites near Point Pleasant, hoping to capture evidence of the Mothman. Whether the creature is real or just a case of mass hysteria, the legend persists, fueling speculation and sparking curiosity about what really happened on those eerie winter nights of the 1960s. This video will shock you. Taken from the surveillance camera of a supermarket during the quiet hours of the night, this footage presents a puzzling and unsettling sight. It shows a shopping cart eerily moving on its own, navigating the supermarket aisles with no one in sight to guide it. Intriguingly, the cart even takes a turn, moving from one aisle to another, suggesting that the movement couldn't easily be dismissed as the work of the wind or a simple tilt in the floor. The absence of any visible person or force behind the cart's movement raises questions and speculation. Could this be the work of a ghost? The idea might seem far-fetched, but the peculiar and deliberate movements of the shopping cart, captured in the stillness of the night, makes me think of something supernatural. In this captivating video, shot from within the depths of the woods, we're presented with a sight that is both extraordinary and mystifying. Hidden among the greenery of the trees and vegetation, the footage reveals the presence of small, skinny, humanoid figures. These creatures are depicted as naked but lack any defining sexual characteristics, adding to their enigmatic nature. The appearance of these beings raises immediate questions about their identity. Are they goblins, as suggested by their diminutive and slender forms, which seem to belong more to the realm of folklore and myth than our modern world? Or could the footage be the result of computer-generated imagery designed to create a convincing illusion of their existence? This video is from a beach, showcasing the discovery of a peculiar siren-like creature washed up on the shore. The footage begins with a view of the beach scattered with washed-up wood branches. The camera then focuses on a dried-up, eerie-looking body. Upon closer inspection, the creature appears to resemble a mermaid with long feminine hair on its head. The lower half of the creature resembles that of a fish, while the upper body resembles a human. However, there's a possibility that this could be a fake or a prop deliberately placed there by someone. The suspicion arises because the creature's appearance suggests it might be a wooden model created for a specific effect. Regardless of its authenticity, the creature in the video does convey a creepy and unsettling vibe. This video was caught by a hunter who was bothered by these sounds. It is obviously an animal of some sort. Perhaps in distress or maybe giving warning sounds. This is one of the creepy noises you're ever likely to hear, particularly if you're alone somewhere remote at night. These sounds have caused a wave of speculation, as it has captured imagination of many wondering what it could be. Most have suggested this to be from maybe a moose or an elk. What do you think? Is it the mating call of a randy moose, a trapped bobcat, or something more sinister? Let us know your guesses in the comments below. This is a clip of a really unnerving scene. From far you might think your mind is playing tricks on you, until we zoom on the strange figure. It looks like a really tall humanoid shadow is holding onto the pole beside it. It is something unfamiliar and out of the ordinary, and I have never seen anything like it. Examining its physique, our attention is drawn to its elongated limbs and stretched out body. Could it be a person dressed in all black, possibly to cause speculation? A shadow of something tall causing a glitch in the camera, or an optical illusion created by certain lighting conditions, or in an eerie case, we could be in a presence of some sort of spirit. This video was recorded by a person who claimed the area to be infested by an anomaly, the Bigfoot. He was daring enough to take an adventure in the middle of the woods at night alone, and is met by something lurking in the dark. As he shines his flashlight into the forest, he sees the reflection of the eyes of a big animal relentlessly staring at him.
Okay, I need to figure out what this thing is before we go any further. There he is, right there. See him?
This sends chills down his spine. Just then, a towering pale shadow swiftly passes between the trees going in the right side. We cannot understand what the figure is due to the darkness. Our attention immediately shifts from the uncanny presence to the queer sounds that rent the air. Well, I think this could be just a mere mountain lion, out in the night hunting for a snack. This camera caught a Bigfoot in 2015. Although the video is low quality, the details are pretty visible. The massive creature, covered in a rich coat of black hair, can be seen walking towards a certain point. It stops, and one can see it extending its really long arms towards the tree trunk. At the same moments, it starts to shake the tree with sheer strength. It is both awe-inspiring and terrifying at the same time. It leaves the tree and proceeds to another. What was the Bigfoot doing with the trees? Was it trying to take the tree down? Or it could be some sort of communication between Bigfoot entities? The local authority in this area had detected some movement on a private property and went on to check what it was, only to see this.
Hey! You're on private property!
He immediately stops when he sees a furry figure stalking amidst the bushes. This startles him. A form of light can be seen flickering in the bushes. Suddenly, the figure emerges from a thicket. It is enveloped by a dense covering of hair. Due to the low lighting in the footage, we cannot see its face, but what is visible is its short stature. As if agitated, This figure starts approaching the person recording, and this frightens him, and he turns to retreat in the other direction. I wonder what this thing could be. Supposedly a Bigfoot, or just a really creepy intruder. This security camera caught this very scary occurrence at a certain checkpoint. A car can be seen approaching the security checkpoint. As it stops, something seems to be really strange. The car appears to have no driver at all. And the guard surely notices all these weirdness. He gets out to investigate what really could be going on. Suddenly, something on the roof of the car terrifies the daylights out of him, and he drops to the ground in panic as he scrambles away. Our attention shifts to the apparition on the car. It seems to be pretty real to me. Due to the darkness, I can't make out what this strange figure is, but it is surely scary from the guard's reaction. These two uncanny events truly perturb one. Where was the driver? And what's the creature on the roof? Could be witnessing a ghost driver. These two guys were out for a walk when they recognized something moving between the trees. As one of them continues recording, we can see a creature's head bobbling up and down as it walks.
Oh shit. Oh my God. What is that thing, man? I didn't know it was that fucking big. It's not coming up here, is it? No, I didn't think it recognized us, man. Calm down, be quiet.
Shortly, it emerges. A black, enigmatic figure. It is really immense that the people recording exclaim with astonishment. It is not aware of the people watching it, and it casually strolls away from the huge steps it is taking. I think it's a really tall creature. This bipedal subject seems to be enveloped in a thick coat of fur. Do you see how it's walking while arms hang down its side? This depiction aligns with the general perception of the Bigfoot. This homeowner was in his roof repairing a faulty cable when he seemed to see something lurking in the shadows. When this footage is slowed, upon closer scrutiny, we can see an unknown figure that seems to be stalking. Then suddenly, it lunges back to its hiding place. The man surely spots it and immediately scurries away, not wanting to know what this frightening creature could be. This could be a raccoon or a small furry animal. The residents of this house had been receiving unexpected guests in their home. Their visits were now a nuisance, so he decided to film this encounter. We can see him closing the door, and after he goes back, the door opens, and what's shocking is that there is no one behind the door. His dog is aware of this weirdness and barks in confirmation that there might be an intruder. He closes the door one more time, and the same happens.
Little buddy.
But this time, an unearthly humanoid figure can be seen in the darkness down the flight of stairs when we zoom at the door. This is very scary, and as if it is not enough, the door closes itself, and when opens, the queer subject shapeshifts into a really enigmatic figure. This is spine-chilling. The quality of this video is impressive, and I don't think it's edited. The dogs in the house were going crazy. Were they seeing something paranormal unseen to the human eyes? But surely something very creepy could be roaming in this household. Imagine you're hiking through the woods with your dog. Suddenly you become aware that you are not alone. Just beyond, in a clearing through the trees, you spot a large, dark shape resting on a tree stump. In this footage, the poster appears to capture something large, black, and covered in fur. The quality of the video is poor, but a shape is visible, as are its movements for a fraction of a second. Beyond this, it's anyone's guess whether it's Bigfoot or a bear.
He's moving, he's moving, he's moving. Daisy, come here. Daisy, come here.
All we have to go on is the conviction of the poster's claim and the rising fear in his voice as he calls out to his dog. Not all First Nation beliefs around Sasquatch are favorable. Whilst some believe that sightings of Bigfoot bring good luck, members of the Plateau tribes identify Bigfoot as a stick Indian, drawing from a diverse range of potentially hostile beings who stole salmon or confused people by whistling, causing them to get lost. Here, a poster zooms in on a figure spotted in the woods. The large Neanderthal-like creature is studying something intently in the branches of the tree, unaware that it's being filmed. It has been suggested that it is stalking something. Is this an ape filmed from a deceptive angle that makes it look far larger than it is? Or is it a Sasquatch? You be the judge. In this video, we're taken on a late-night drive through a forest, seen from the perspective of a passenger filming the journey. Everything changes when they have to slam on the brakes. Right there, in the middle of the road, is something you'd never expect. A strange figure that looks human, standing still, cloaked in black from head to toe. The driver tries everything to get it to move. He honks the horn, shouts, and even inches the car closer. But this cloaked figure just won't budge. It's like it doesn't even notice them. Finally, deciding enough is enough, the driver steps out of the car, determined to confront this mysterious roadblock. But here's where it gets really weird. When he reaches out and pulls the cloak away, there's nothing there. No person, no object, nothing that could explain how this cloak was standing upright in a perfectly human shape. It's as if they've encountered a ghost or some kind of invisible force. To me, this is seriously spooky stuff. How does a cloak stand in the middle of the road like it's wrapped around someone? But when you check, there's nothing there. In this fascinating video, a man is seen interacting with a freshly captured, still alive piranha. Holding the fish securely in his hand, he decides to test the famed cutting ability of its teeth. He takes a stick and inserts it into the piranha's mouth, curious to see if the small but notorious fish can indeed slice through it. Remarkably, each time the stick is placed in the mouth, the fish quickly cuts it, demonstrating the incredible strength and sharpness of its teeth. This experiment is repeated multiple times, consistently cutting through the stick effortlessly. It's a clear demonstration of the power packed into the jaws of such a small creature. Watching this, I'm struck by the sheer adaptability and specialized traits that evolution has bestowed upon creatures. If you've ever been in a house that is creepy after dark, and you are alone, you will understand what this young woman is going through. After a move to Ohio, she begins experiencing what can only be described as a kind of haunting or visitation by an unknown and deeply disturbing entity.
Puzzle I'm working on. Maybe when I'm done with it, I can send you this. Mom, I gotta go.
There are a few interesting things about what we've just watched. There is a general sense of unease emanating from the young woman before we even hear the loud thump. She keeps glancing in the direction of somewhere off camera, and she almost swallows her word when showing off her puzzle. She seems nervous right off the bat, and is trying hard to keep upbeat for her mother. The next video provides clear evidence that while she might think she's alone in the house, she's not.
There's the oven. It's kind of whack, but I put the nice towel that you sent me. Thank you.
As we just saw, she resumes the conversation, trying to keep a facade that everything is okay. She has moved to another room, perhaps somewhere she feels safer. The old oven seems to suggest that the house is slightly older, which adds to the creepiness of what follows. The story escalated quickly, as does the young woman's composure. She is no longer trying to put on a brave face. She is distraught as the house is bathed in darkness. Terrified, she lets on that it's back, which suggests that this is not the first time something like this has happened.
I think it's back.
The terrifying climax appears at the end, with a shadowy figure only made visible by 2 glowing eyes. The story ends with the return of a thumping sound, which we now know is whatever that entity is, knocking on the front door. She pleads with it to no avail as it continues to stand and stare at her like a psychopath. Whether truth or fiction, it makes for a frightening scenario. 2 men returning to what appears to be a deserted and isolated house at night. It is unclear if the home is theirs, possibly abandoned due to what follows, or merely a site of strange activity. Either way, their behavior is odd. Pulling up, one of them focuses his flashlight at the windows. Pay close attention, or you just might miss it.
Holy what? Go.
Most towns have one. Creepy, deserted old house that has given way to neglect. Perhaps the owners grew old and died. Perhaps something terrible happened there. This is one of those houses. Note the tall grass out front. The air of abandonment. And then, so quick, you almost miss it. The figure of a small boy standing in the doorway. Why is he there? What nightmare unfolded behind those walls? Why is he trapped, unable to leave? The men seem to know that the house has a reputation. They do not get out of the car. Even when it is clear the figure is the height of a child, they do not stop to investigate. Instead, they speed off into the night, leaving us to wonder what really happened there. Watch again in the zoomed-in footage. Illinois. Zoomed in and surprisingly clear footage captures something utterly terrifying amongst the trees. At first sight it is barely detectable, but then a figure emerges. A hulking bipedal creature stands almost as tall as the trees in the snow-covered landscape. Spotted, it begins to move. Is this a hoax or further compelling evidence to suggest that Bigfoot really exists? The scale of the creature positioned amongst the trees and the confident manner it moves in this snowy wilderness suggests that this is its home. The overall shape of the creature and the almost conical head add to the case for this being real. On being discovered, it vanishes into the trees. Chilling at home alone shouldn't be this stressful. Watch what happens in this unsuspecting encounter that really is too close for comfort.
I'm home alone, right? But
a ghostly reflection of what looks like a woman with long dark hair or something pulled over its head appears alongside the poster of the video. Shot in a seemingly continuous point of view, the image is quite terrifying, but her response to the moment is anything but. Perhaps I'd be more convinced if she wasn't so calm to her invisible flatmate. Her demeanor does little to suggest shock or horror. Does the poster just have nerves of steel? Or is it a hoax born of some editing? You be the judge. We see a lot of poor footage of Bigfoot online, which makes the videos we're showing in this episode something of an exception. This one, although zoomed in, seems to capture the creature in fairly close proximity. Pay attention to the movement of this Bigfoot. It has a somewhat different gait to others we've seen. Could this relaxed stride be due to the fact that the creature is unaware that it has been discovered? Or is that the most epic Halloween costume? On Trail Terror, we feature a number of clips of animals in their natural habitat, particularly deer and elk during rutting season. These animals display a diverse number of vocalizations that serve to not only attract mates, but warn others of danger. A Texas police officer stops at a rest stop and records the following sound emanating from the woods beyond. Is initially noticeable is the sheer volume of the bellow. It feels almost otherworldly. Could this be the call of a really large stag or elk? Or as this police officer suggests, the cry of Bigfoot? This startling footage claims to capture the face of Bigfoot. The likeness to human features is incredibly disturbing, but the more you look at the sheer size of its head and the somewhat large gap between its round eyes, these features resemble something less human. Here, the creature seems relaxed and even curious as it glances in the direction of the camera. It knows it's being watched, but in turn it is watching. In other videos, Bigfoot hunters claim that these creatures often have one member who serves as a lookout to protect its family. We have showed earlier videos on this channel where similar close-ups of Bigfoot's face have been captured, but the picture quality has not been as clear. This face confirms the face captured in other sightings, supplying a compelling case for its existence. This mesmerizing and rare footage captures a close-up human encounter with a mountain lion. Watch as the poster and his family come across the calm cat on their walk. Fortunately, the kitty isn't in the mood to rip their faces off. In most eventualities, mountain lion attacks on humans are not that common. If they wanted to hunt us, they would. Having said that, never play submissive to a cougar if you wish to survive. The glorious creature remains relaxed and still as the humans admire her beauty. A TikToker who posts videos of strange events happening around her home was startled at the sound she heard while putting her chicks away in the pen.
What the fuck?
The sound coming from the forest was like an animal's cry for help. And so she shined her torchlight into the woods while recording. She captures a white figure next to a tree. At first glance, it wasn't there, but when she circled back to look in the same direction, her camera was able to capture a thin white figure at the left side of a tree. The strangest thing was that the figure disappeared after being out of the camera's recording range. Could it be that the mysterious white figure was making those eerie sounds in the forest? Or could it have scared an animal in the woods and caused it to make the bizarre sound? On a clear day, a man happens to capture what looks like Bigfoot casually walking out through a small clearing of a forest and back into the woods. The creature's features may prove it to be Bigfoot, as it walks on twos and appears much more prominent than the average human height. Its arms extend downwards below the waistline and seem to have a thick coat of brown fur. The video quality isn't as clear and makes it hard to make out what the face looks like, but its tall, towering stature, long ape-like arms, and the appearance of thick fur could be an indication of the existence of the cryptid Bigfoot. A woman enjoying the comfort of her home on a sofa happens to see something strange at the window right next to her door that sends chills down her spine. A dark figure appears at the window, also captures the attention of two of her dogs, who stare at the door, putting the lady's nerves on edge. She starts to record it, and the dark figure disappears after some time. The dogs disperse, notifying the lady that the supposed danger that appeared on her door may be gone, but it leaves the lady puzzled as to what this figure could be, and its intentions. For all we know, it could be a shadow of a harmless animal walking around and happening to wind up at her front door, or maybe something sinister could be lurking around stalking on the house residents. Two kids were recording their adventure while in the woods when they heard screams coming from deeper within. The screams started as a faint cry for help, but as they walked deeper into the forest, they grew louder, as though someone was desperately trying to escape an ordeal. At first, they think it is some children trying to summon demons by shouting. To them, it appears to be some kind of a joke, but the louder the screams got, the scarier they became. Eventually, they near where their screams were. They panic, and they decide to retreat from the forest into a nearby grassland. Even after distancing from the scene, they could still hear the desperate cries for help from the forest. The kids might have presumed it to be a joke, but maybe something serious could be happening, and a victim needed help. I think it would be best if the kids could have dialed and reported to the authorities. This wildlife enthusiast was taking a nature walk in the middle of the forest when he caught it all with his camera. There, when he zooms his camera, the creature comes into view. It is in a hunched position, making it hard to recognize its face. It has a towering height and covered with thick brown fur. It notices it is being watched and tries to hide between the branches. As the video continues, the creature struts away, leaving the witness speculated. Maybe this could be an ordinary orangutan that could be easily mistaken with the legendary Bigfoot. This polar bear in Russia appeared at the front of a man's house. To the man's surprise, it wasn't acting in a ferocious manner as expected of one. Rather, it was as if it was asking for something. He decides to take a closer look, and it seems a can was stuck on the polar bear's tongue and needed help removing it. He tries to pull it with his hands, but the can appears to be lodged too deeply to make much of a difference. The bear had to be for sure having some pain, and even maybe it had gone days without food. Out of pity, the man decides to call for help, and animal specialists come to the bear's aid. They are able to retrieve the can, and they even place the bear back to its habitat. A polar bear would likely never approach humans like this, but I am assuming that this was a result of how desperate she was for help and how weak she was from hunger. For more strange and interesting footage, check this out.